and welcome. I had to look and make sure I got this right. The annual Partners Appreciation Luncheon for the Citizens Conservation Corps of West Virginia. So welcome everyone and happy holidays. I'll go ahead and start out by saying Mr. Martin, our CEO, is a little under the weather this afternoon, so he's afraid he may lose his voice, and I told him not to worry. I've got a big mouth and a loud voice, so if I have to pinch hit and help him out a little bit, or he happens to miss someone, we're going to try to give him a pass on that today since he's not feeling very well, even though he tells us there are no excuses. So with that being said, I'm actually going to turn things over to Mr. Martin, the CEO of the Citizens Conservation Corps of West Virginia, so we can get started with our program. Thank you.
Welcome everyone. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. I would first like to start out by introducing you to our board of directors. If you all would stand, the CCC board of directors. Next, without further ado, we wouldn't be where we are today if it were not for this fantastic staff. The staff of the CCC. Please rise. And I was wondering if all of our local politicians could rise and be recognized. Mr. Patrick Reed, Daniel Hall, anyone who's a local politician, please rise. One of our main two projects of Challenge Athletes of West Virginia up at Snowshoe Mountain. Bob McLean, Dave Bigg, if you are here, would you rise, please? And the Appalachian Cold Country team, Ms. April Tripp, and Dr. Alan Compton, if you're here, would you rise? You know, we really began down in McDowell County, and we still have an ongoing project down there called the Twin Branch Recreational Authority. And when I think about Twin Branch, I think about our early beginnings, and that leads me to talk about Kid Lewis, who this award is named after today, and we're honoring my dear friend Bill Baker. But Kid Lewis stood by my side when the CCC really wasn't even on the radar map. So I'm happy to announce that as of next spring, we're going to bring our state-of-the-art sewer system online, and we'll be building a cabinet down at Twin Branch, and also trying to connect it to the Hatfield McCoy Trails system. With the members of McDowell County Bank, please stand, please. One of our projects that we really love, and since we were talking about speeding, we've got a program called Slide. We work with young people and teach them some core competencies about life, and also take them to snowshoe and winter place. So, Mr. Terry Pfeiffer and anyone from winter place, and also the staff who works with the Slide group, would you please rise? Vernon Rock Outdoor Adventure Park, Woody Dula, Beaver Cove, Pat Reed, and the future of Vernon Rock. Would you please rise? Our banner program, as everyone must know by now, is the West Virginia Courtesy Patrol. And we just, on November the 21st, we celebrated 14 years of being in service. So having said that, let me acknowledge the people who are responsible for keeping us on the highways. We'll start out with the Division of Highways. Bob Andrew, are you here yet? Or anyone from Highways, would you please rise? And also Stevens Auto, Richard Stevens. Thanks for always keeping those efforts. DHHR with your grants and support, Bill Asker. Is anyone from DHHR here? Okay, and also the tourism division for still supporting us in our efforts out there on the highway. One of our projects that we just turned over to the West Virginia Golf Association is the first tee of West Virginia, and it's also a project that Bill Baker set on the board of directors with us and helped establish the National Schools program, and that's going to be developed all throughout the state of West Virginia. Is anybody from the West Virginia Golf Association here? Ken Tackle. Well, let's give them a round of applause. United Bank. Is anyone from United Bank here? Thank you. City National Bank. These bankers always come to our aid whenever we run into financial hardships from time to time, so you can't do it with other bankers. Charlie, where are you? Joe Brown, National Capital Investment Fund. Joe, are you here? Okay, Joe's not here, but Joe is going to be partnering with us as we move into McDowell County and develop Twin Branch. BB&T, Maury Williams, I know I saw you out there. Thank you for your support. One of my mentors and somebody who I really respect a lot, Susan Landis, the Beckley Area Foundation. Nancy Kissinger, Spirit of Beckley recipient, and Chase Mike, would you rise? Represented by the Chamber of Commerce. Ellen Taylor, would you rise, please? Everyone will be the code, rise again. You know what a lot of people don't realize is that it takes us about $800,000 a year just to stay in business, and pretty much that $800,000 goes towards the insurance policies that we have to cover statewide in order to be in business. And one of the things that we've in the past had problems with has been our workers' compensation. We've got a young man named Jimmy Songer and his company who's kept us in business. Thank you, Jimmy, and Jimmy Songer Insurance. And Steve Cochran, what you all saying? And with the medical insurance and our staff needs to be taken care of, Missy Hilton, you've always done a fantastic job at that. And where is Tom, my good friend Tom? We got a young guy with my insurance. Little Larry, you've been fantastic for us. Thank you. Your dad taught you well so that your mom's salary. Stand, please. Now, when I first started, I used to make all my business decisions on my own. I thought I was doing a fairly good job of it, so I had a couple lawsuits. So anymore, you can't make any decision or sign your name to anything without running it by your attorneys. So guys who have been with us for many, many years, Chuck Bailey and Bob Sosman, Bailey Wiley Associates. Our in-house counsel, Mr. Michael Frozen. Kevin Robinson and Vic Flanagan will Pullen, Fowler, Flanagan, Brown, and Pump. AJ Speracino for helping us go down in Training Rock. Thank you very much, AJ. And I would be remiss if I did not talk about our smooth transition with the first tee to the West Virginia Golf Association, and that's because of Mrs. Kim, man. Thank you, thank you very much. Marketing is a central and a key perspective of how we talk about reaching the summer community action initiative. Everything we're going to do with our community service project, 352 in 9 southern counties. So we have Charles Ryan and Associates who represents us. Anyone here from Charles Ryan and Associates? Okay, thank you very much. Now, let me get this more affectionately known, the Glade Group. Bill Baker introduced me to this group, and it's a group of volunteers here at Glade who walked with us each step of the way as we moved into the 9 counties. Not only that, they work in terms of teaching skills with all the young people in the CCC's programs. So the Glade Group is really the New River Gorge
New River Gorge Regional Development Authority Volunteer Group.
With that entire group, please stand. All county volunteers who were involved with the Regional Summit Community Action initiatives, please stand. More important, I want to mention our county champions, Judy Rafford, Roy Bryan, Steve Antoline, Jim and Debbie Redmond, Commissioner Jack Woodrum, and Christy Laxton. Could you all stand again and be recognized? Boy Scouts of America, Dan McCarthy, Summit Director, Larry Pritchard, Jamboree Director, Mike Patrick, Director of Operations, Gary Hartley, Director of Community and Governmental Relations, Steve McGowan, Volunteer, Dave Topser, Program Development Specialist, Brian Howard, Facilities Director, and Fred Hissel, Day of Service Volunteer. Could you all please stand? We're very excited to be recognized. The New River Gorge National Park Service, Debbie Dorton, Robin Snyder, Devin Today, and Robin Perry, and of course, Trader Don Sprague. Senior Beckley Beautification Group, Mary Emmett Hughes, thank you, Emmett. Mining Academy, Superintendent Janet Sternson, Cheryl McGill, Judy Barry, and Yuri Humphrey. Would you please stand? The Raleigh County Solid Waste Authority, James Allen George, Bragg Officer Stone, John Dunn, and Brian Runyon Sr., and our beloved Sherry Hunter. Would you please stand? Deputy Sanitary Board, Jeremiah Johnson. Please stand, Jeremiah. He's not here? Oh, there you go. Visit Southern West Virginia. I saw you earlier. Bill Robson with the Recreational Trails Program at the Division of Highways. Would you stand, sir? By the way, Ms. Margaret O'Neill. And by the way, Margaret is also one of our chief volunteers with the initiative. Could you stand? Back over to you. Thank you very much. I forget to register her. Whenever we call them and ask them to keep the public informed about the community service initiative or any initiative that the CCC is engaged in, they never said no. They've always been fantastic. They are very supportive. What a great resource we have. Thank you very much. Frank Wood.
Thank you, Elmer and Glade Springs and the staff. I know we've driven y'all crazy, so y'all earned your money this week. Okay, so before, Mr. Martin was talking about all the great partnerships and projects and programs that we're doing, and he mentioned the beautification crew that we're doing with the city of Beckley, and and Mayor Pugh and hiring young individuals. That program was actually kick-started and funded by the J.P. Morgan Chase Foundation year before last. And then last year, they helped, well, actually, it was kick-started rolled into last year as well. And I don't know if you're going to talk a little bit about that, Nancy, the number of jobs that program created. But J.P. Morgan Chase Foundation has been great, and we're excited about our newest presentation for our Veterans Corps program. So I'm going to let Nancy take it over. And as Mr. Martin already said, Miss Spirit of Beckley, but it's been an exciting week for Nancy, and I'm sure almost all of you all were at the event on Monday, and it was simply fantastic. And congratulations again, Nancy, on your award.
On behalf of the Chase Foundation, the J.P. Morgan Chase Foundation, it's my pleasure to be here today to present a $50,000 check to the CCC to be used for the Veterans Corps program that Jennifer just mentioned. And I think it's very appropriate we're presenting this check on such a historic day when we're dealing with veterans. The CCC uses this money to actually recruit, train, and then place in jobs veterans who work for governments, for federal institutions, for businesses and corporations. And the vision of this program is to train these veterans and put them into jobs where they can have income sustainability for themselves and their families. So it's a wonderful program. Chase is proud to be in our 4th year of partnering with the CCC and are thrilled with this Veteran Corps initiative, which last year created more than 120 new jobs for veterans. So I think it's fantastic what they're doing. We look forward to continuing to work with you and to see more jobs created for veterans in the future who are so deserving of jobs when they come back after what they've done for us. So we're pleased to do this. So here's our check.
Okay, so finally to get started with Bill Baker. We've really got a lot of great letters here, Bill, and I would start to talk about all the great things you've done, but your bio says it all. I really don't think there's many people here that don't already know all the great things that you do. I remember my 10-year anniversary celebration for the CCC that Bill came to. I didn't realize that he knew my mom for years when he was in the education field, and my mom said that, you know, you're a great man with great character, and she couldn't have been more honest about that statement. Bill has helped us with the First T program, the national school program that Mr. Martin talked about. Bill chaired that education committee, and I had the opportunity to work alongside with Bill, and it was a really exciting program, and it was very rewarding to work with Bill, and I learned so much about Bill and what he stands for, and I still don't know how he does everything that he does, but he's got a great passion for education and young people, and that's one of the things I admired about Bill most. So with that being said, I'm going to read the letter that went to Bill informing him that he had received the Kit Lewis Leadership Award. And it says, "Dear Bill, congratulations on being named the 2012 recipient of the H.C. Kit Lewis Jr. Leadership Award presented by Citizens Conservation Corps, West Virginia. This award was named after a dear friend of mine, Hiram Parson Lewis Jr., a retired businessman and former public official from McDowell County. And Bill's also a native of McDowell County, and he never lets me forget about that. And of course, I'm from McDowell County too, so that was the other special connection we had in the early days. The decision to select you for this year's award, to be honest, was quite simple. You have been actively engaged with a number of our projects for years. In particular, the leadership role you demonstrated on the board of directors for the First TO West Virginia as chairman of the Education Committee. You led our efforts to implement the National Schools Program. Not only was the First TO West Virginia unique in the fact that it was one of only a handful of programs to receive a statewide chapter designation in the country, but the program was also at the forefront as the first chapter to implement the National Schools Program in this fashion. Your background experience and expertise in the education field was instrumental in implementing and developing the program deliverables and the evaluation tools by which the impact of the program could be measured. Nearly 9,000 students were impacted positively in 20 elementary and intermediate schools throughout the state due to your vision. The ability to support and believe in us couldn't be more evident than with the Reaching the Summit Community Service Initiative. We're truly thrilled to be involved with the Day of Service and the Boy Scouts of America. I appreciate your endorsement and confidence in us to get the job done and promise that we will not disappoint you or the 40,000 scouts who are coming to experience the great outdoors of West Virginia. I would be remiss to not also thank you for introducing us to the New River Gorge Regional Development Authority volunteer group, which you also had a great deal in orchestrating. The volunteer group, better known as the GLADE Group, has played an instrumental and pivotal role in the development, coordination, and facilitation of the initiative. Again, congratulations on being chosen for the special award. You clearly deserve this recognition and represent the type of individual we had in mind when establishing the Kit Lewis Leadership Award. I am proud to call you my friend and thank you and Libby for all of your selfless contributions, sacrifice, and service to our great state. Sincerely, Robert A. Martin, Chief Executive Officer, Citizens Conservation Corps of West Virginia. Next will be the presentation of the letter from Senator Rockefeller that will be read by our board president, Ms. Pat Pinnell, who's also a former Kit Lewis Leadership Award recipient.
Before I read this letter, I'm going to make an executive decision. There's two people that Robert did not introduce, and I know they're very proud people. Would Robert's mother please rise? She was the one that actually started all this. And behind every man is a great woman. And Leslie, would you please stand? It doesn't give me great pleasure to read this letter from John D. Rockefeller. Dear friends, thank you for inviting me to be with you as the Citizens Conservation Corps recognizes the invaluable experience of one of our state's finest community leaders, Mr. Bill Baker. I also want to thank Kit Lewis and Robert Martin, both for their tireless efforts through the CCC and for exhibiting a vision that has served to help so many individuals and organizations. All of us know that Bill's service is simply unequaled. From his days as a stellar athlete to his long career in education, public office, and now a community innovator, Bill Baker exemplifies the very definition of service. Not only has Bill led the way on numerous projects, he is always considered as a go-to when our state needs an advocate. Bill may have retired from baseball long ago, but he's still hitting home runs on a regular basis. As we celebrate yet another accomplishment for Bill, we all know that Libby has played an important role in his success. So I join everyone here in thanking you. Again, I thank Bill for his life of dedication to others and to the Citizens Conservation Corps for making a terrific choice for this year's award recipient. May God bless all of you. Sincerely, John D. Rockefeller.
Ooh, I'm gonna get myself out of trouble. My little note at the top said, "Don't forget Leslie and your mom." The next letter is going to be read from last year's award winner, who's going all the way to Denali, Alaska. Superintendent Don Stryker, the letter from Senator Manchin.
I'm sure were Senator Manchin here, if he would call her, he would first want to thank Rob for the great work and Jennifer for the great work that the CCC does. And he would probably make note of the fact that this is really a community full of community leaders, and that Bill Baker is really a leader among the leaders. You probably say, you in West Virginia go together like carrots and peas. I haven't read this yet, so we'll see. Reading from Joe Manchin III, United States Senator. On behalf of the citizens of the Mountain State, and as your United States Senator, it is my distinct privilege to extend congratulations to William H. Baker for being honored with this year's Citizens Contribution Corps of West Virginia Leadership Award. In West Virginia, the Mountaineer spirit lives on through the commitment our citizens exemplify in their daily lives, always looking to provide a helping hand to their neighbors and to make our state a better place to work, live, and raise a family. Bill began his professional career in one of the most admirable fields, education. A famous reporter said, "The whole purpose of education is to turn mirrors into windows." This statement is so true because it's through education that we build the next generation. And while serving in various capacities in our state's education system, Bill served as a role model for students while sharing knowledge and opening their minds to new ideas. Bill would go on to obtain several other titles, including Raleigh County Commissioner, Developer, and Philanthropist. In addition, he has earned numerous awards, including the Leader of Learning Award, the Beckley Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce Community Service Award, and the Spirit of Beckley Award, among many others. I have known Bill for many years, and I can honestly say that he is a genuinely good, decent man. He possesses this unbelievable need to serve, and he goes out of his way to help others. I respect his candor, and I truly appreciate his selfless service to his community and to our beautiful state. Bill, your achievements are so impressive, and I am sure there will be many more to come. Again, congratulations on your accomplishment of being recognized with the 2012 Citizens Conservation Corps of West Virginia Leadership Award.
Next is Kelly Dyke from Congressman Ray Hall's office. And I must confess, I talked with Kelly weeks ago about getting this letter ready, and I always have a hard time pulling Kelly out of the office, and I begged and pleaded for her to come. She said she would come. And then, just bit by bit, I kind of brought it on her and sent her an email yesterday and let her know she's going to be sitting at the head table presenting the letter. So, thanks for coming, Kelly.
It's really not that much of a struggle to get out of the office, but thank you. And Robert and Congressman Ray Hall are here. Dear friends, I cannot think of a better time of year than in the season of hope to celebrate the legacy of my dear friend Kent Lewis and the presentation of the Leadership Award named in his honor. I cannot think of a more deserving individual who possesses more practical optimism to receive the Lewis Leadership Award than my longtime friend, Bill Baker. The Citizens Conservation Corps was born out of an inextinguishable hope and faith in our nation's future in one of our country's darkest hours. It laid many foundations for our future that today still produce results. Likewise, the Citizens Conservation Corps of West Virginia holds young potential into future capital, contributing to our economy and, importantly, strengthening our families. Bill Baker understands the potential of our young. First and foremost, he will always be a leader in educating and enlightening our youth. The fact that he can command the management of a dozen other duties at the same time makes him a most invaluable asset to this organization. That's why he was the perfect pick to help with the Corps and the Boy Scouts Reaching the Summit Community Service Initiative. The scope and sheer number of community service projects that they are planning to undertake during the upcoming National Scout Jamboree rivals the contributions of the original CCC, and in large part, we owe Bill for that accomplishment. A couple of years ago, when Bill was presented with the Spirit of Beckley Award, he issued a challenge to all those assembled. I think his words would make a mantle motto for all who pass through the CCC's doors. He said, "We are all spirits of a better tomorrow." To be any less would be to defeat the very spirit of the CCC. To do any less would be to deny the many achievements and milestones Bill has advanced. So I salute you, Bill, and our many friends with the Corps on being one of the best teams we have going for our region. Keep making Kit and the rest of us so very proud. With warm regards, I am, sincerely, Nick Rayhall, Member of Congress.
Next will be remarks and a letter that's going to be presented from Mayor Pugh, City of Beckley.
Thank you. You know, it's really fitting that, we started out the week on Monday by honoring Nancy Kissinger as the Spirit of Beckley recipient. We're kind of ending up the work week, if you will, by honoring Bill Baker for this leadership award. And it really goes kind of hand in hand for two individuals who've just given so much back to this community and what they've done. Now, I've kind of come to know Bill more from when he became commissioner on the Raleigh County Commission and was president of the commission. And some of the things that he and I were able to do between the city and the county that I think have laid the foundation for infrastructure in this county and the city that it's going to pay off in years to come. And by that I mean Pine Crest Development Corporation, we both participate in now, Beckley Raleigh County Transportation Authority, which has been responsible for getting the Z-Way started and keeping it in front of the West Virginia Department of Transportation. So there's a lot of things that Bill has done kind of behind the scenes that we kind of do just because it's what we're called to do. And Bill, on behalf of the city, I would just like to read this letter to you. Dear Bill, I want to congratulate you on being honored for the Leadership Award named after H.C. Kit Lewis, Jr. by the Citizens Conservation Corps of West Virginia. As mayor of the city of Beckley, I've had the distinct honor and the wonderful privilege of working with many great leaders and innovative thinkers. The decision to select you for this year's award did not surprise me at all. I would be hard-pressed to come up with many who even come close to matching what you have done throughout your stellar career, both for our city and citizens. Transportation, education, economic development, workforce development, community service, tourism, technology, and volunteerism, and the list goes on. You've been a mover and a shaker longer than I can remember with everything and everything that matters to our community and well-being. I am pleased that you have had an opportunity to work with CCC and become involved with their programming and organizational mission of impacting youth and adults through a myriad of initiatives and efforts. Reaching the Summit Community Service Initiative, New River Gorge Regional Development Authority's volunteer group, and the First Tee of West Virginia are three distinct examples of where your leadership, guidance, and vision have yielded tremendous success. As a result, CCC is laying the groundwork and foundation for endless opportunities and limitless potential. The future is bright, and you have been a driving force behind their efforts. Again, congratulations on being chosen for this award. You clearly have earned the many accolades and praise that come with receiving an award of this stature. It is my pleasure to recognize and thank you for all that you have done and continue to do for the city of Baton and the state of West Virginia. Thank you, Bill.
Next is Kim Gross from Office of Governor Earl Ray Tomlin.
Wow, that was some crickets right there. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm extremely pleased to be invited to the annual Partners Luncheon. The CCC has a special role in this state. The projects they undergo are vital to ensuring the future generations of West Virginia have strong, healthy communities that can serve and enhance our resources. On behalf of Governor Tomlin, I would like to thank Robert Martin, Jennifer Douglas, and all the others here today who have such a passion for giving of themselves, because that generous spirit benefits us all. The Governor is very honored to be a former recipient of the Kit Lewis Jr. Leadership Award. Sorry. And he is truly sorry he is unable to be here to celebrate this special day with us. But he did send us a letter for this year's recipient, Mr. Bill Baker. Mr. Baker, I'm pleased you've been selected to receive the Kit Lewis Jr. Leadership Award by the Citizens Conservation Group of West Virginia. The citizens of Beckley and Raleigh County are better off today because of your decades of leadership, sacrifice, and commitment. You've propelled many projects from infancy to fruition, and we've grown accustomed to counting on you time and time again. I commend your hard work with many CCCWV initiatives, two in particular. The First Tee of Beckley and the First Tee of West Virginia. As Board of Director and Chairman of the Education Committee for TFTWV, you helped launch the National Schools Program, which is now a nationwide model. Also with your support, the TFTWV was transitioned to the West Virginia Golf Association. You're a true champion for the CCC, and I extend sincere thanks for all you've done for West Virginia. One thing is certain, when I hear the name Bill Baker, I know success will follow. Best regards, Governor Earl Ray Tomlin.
Okay, Steve McGowan, it's your turn. I don't know if he needs any introduction, but Steve has, well, I met Steve for the first time actually just when we got involved with the Boy Scouts of America and the Reaching the Summit Community Service Initiative that we're launching. So, Steve, I'm just going to turn this over to you.
Thank you. Robert, I'm not a medical doctor, but I do have a Juris Doctorate degree, so if you need an excuse for forgetting the two names, I'll be happy to write First of all, I'd like to take a moment to thank the CCC for letting me once again have the privilege of being able to offer a few remarks about the recipient of the award. Leadership is a rare commodity in many of our communities. Volunteer leadership is an essential building block of communities. And certainly the example of Mr. Hiram Kit Lewis, Jr. in McHale County and in the region set a high, very high threshold for recognition and for service. We have with us tonight, this afternoon, three other individuals who were recognized with that award. I'd like to take a moment just to point them out. First of all, Woody Duba from Beaver Cove. Mel, who is the president of the West Virginia CCC and who also the Spirit Beckley Award winner this year. Nancy Kissinger. Well, she wasn't malicious. Nancy Kissinger, please. Last but not least, the traitor of the room. Last year I got up and said all kinds of nice things about him. I acknowledged his leadership, his community spirit, his dedication to West Virginia, his personal investment of himself into making sure that the success of the Boy Scouts in the 2013 National Scout Jamboree would be shared and celebrated in a responsibility, therefore also shared and celebrated by the individual who is the superintendent of the New River Gorge National River. Unfortunately, before we even get to 2013, he has made the decision to pack for Alaska. God will miss you, and it has been a personal privilege to both know you, to work with you, and to see the kind of leadership that you have brought. You have done a great service and great honor to Mr. Lewis in living up to the standard and threshold established for the word. It's been said that it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a collaboration of villages to build a community. And it takes great servant leaders to build the collaboration that makes great communities successful. For 4 decades, Bill Baker has been the example that will not be exceeded of a servant leader. There are at least 13 to 15 different civic organizations, boards, or memberships that he has served in a volunteer capacity over the last 4 decades. More than half of which, actually about 3/4 of which, he has served either as the president on multiple occasions or in chairmanship roles, including, believe it or not, someone that would sign up for being the chairman of the United Way campaign twice, about 10 years apart. The only reason, having done that myself once, the only reason anybody would do that was because with the advancement of age, you forget how challenging it was. But Bill Baker was there and served twice. And all of the other organizations that he has served with are organizations that provide leadership and service to communities, much as he did through his years as an educator, not just in southern West Virginia, but throughout the state of West Virginia, up in Wood County, in part of a state superintendent's contingent that he represented. And actually, it even went international, and he was part of one of the 36-person committee that was sent to the Soviet Union to be able to look at their schools and to bring back to West Virginia and to bring them examples of greatness and leadership and education. He has a distinguished career as an educator. His accolades as Superintendent of the Year and other awards that were given to him were testimony to, throughout his career, how much he gave, how much he did, and how valuable his leadership was to the communities that he served, wherever he was located. Then he entered into politics. Now, I'm a little bit concerned about this because I always thought, because my mom was a school teacher, and if the politics of the public school system are not sufficient to quench your thirst, then jumping into politics in and of itself shows nothing less than a hunger for something beyond the extreme. But Bill wasn't finished when he finished educating. He wasn't finished when it came time to leading schools and leading students to greatness. He continued to take on greater causes to try to lead communities. Through the course of it, he has received a number of different awards from different organizations for his leadership, for what he's done. My personal experience with Bill began in about 2010, when the Boy Scouts, 2009-2010, when the Boy Scouts announced that they were going to be bringing and building the Summit Bechtel Family National Scout Reserve to this area. As the committee that helped to bring the project to West Virginia was wrapping up its work, the local leadership, Judy Radford and others, Don Stryker and others who served on that committee and task force, recognized that the opportunity that was ahead for this area could only be fully recognized with a level of leadership and collaboration that had never, ever been assembled in this part of the state. It needed to be a level of leadership and collaboration that was equal to the opportunity that the summit presented. When they approached Bill Baker, there was concern. Everybody always asked Bill Baker to do everything. And Bill Baker never says no, and nobody wanted to be the first that he said no to. They didn't have to worry about that, because when he was asked, Bill Baker, as he always does, immediately said yes. And I met a man who, the first time he walked into the room, is somewhat quiet demeanor, reserved and businesslike, brought an aura of leadership to the room and a spirit of vision looking out into the project and the things that laid ahead, that immediately brought a group of people together from all areas of many counties that had historically been able to compete with each other and complain about each other very well, but rarely come together and realize an opportunity for collaboration so that all boats would rise, so that all people would benefit, and so that all people in the communities would be served. He recognized the opportunity that the Messengers of Peace Day of Service, as the Boy Scouts call it, or the project that you all have assembled, he recognized the opportunity as part of the initiative that it could bring not just to one or two counties, but through his leadership and reaching out to the leaders of various counties, he found ways to get them to support, get them to buy into, get leaders in those counties to come forward to champion a cause, because he knew where there was additional leadership available through the West Virginia CCC. It didn't take long, because Bill had the credibility for the Boy Scouts to recognize that through his relationship with the West Virginia CCC and the opportunity that it provided to us to be able to put 40,000 scouts and leaders into the communities to provide service, that vision would be fully fulfilled, because Bill Baker was leading the charge and would make sure that it happened. Over the years, the initiative, while that may be his strongest tie, if you will, to the West Virginia CCC in terms of what the CCC does, Bill has continued over the last 3+ years, 4 years, to lead the entire Reaching the Summit Committee, so that all aspects of communication with the community, of coordination of the things that are needed to make this a place that West Virginia will be proud to bring in thousands of visitors to see. From having the courage to talk about the need to clean up certain things in our communities, to having the courage to talk about the community needing to be responsible for finding its solutions instead of expecting others to provide them for him. Bill Baker empowered the people that he worked with through this committee to achieve greatness. And greatness it has achieved. It's been my privilege to be a witness to that as it has gone along. What I have seen Bill Baker as, and how what I have come to know him as, is a gift. Bill is a gift because he's a gift, first of all, that keeps on giving. And second of all, he's a servant leader that keeps on serving. I'd ask Bobby Lewis and Robert Martin to join me at this time to present to Bill Baker the 2012 H.C. Lewis Kit Lewis Jr. West Virginia CCC Leadership Award to Mr. Bill Baker.
me say a few things. I'm humbled, I'm honored. Remember last year when Don Stryker received this award, I thought, boy, couldn't have gone to a better person. And like Steve said, now he's leaving us, going as far as he can go. But look at the people that have gotten this award. And to think that as a McDowell Countyan, I received the award from the great McDowell County, makes me feel really good. I look back over the room and there's been a lot of nice things said today. And I appreciate that. I'm glad my wife was here. So. She's sometimes wondering what I do when I leave the house. But there's 2 or 3 things I'd like to say. Number one, that nothing that I've been involved in has happened without the help of an awful lot of people. Nancy, we made Nancy, or gave her the 2012 Spirit of Record Award. So well deserved. And Emmett and I were pleased and honored to be part of that. And I worked with Nancy in so many things, and I look at what Nancy does. And when Emmett said about things we were able to do when I was on the commission, we were able to do those things, and a lot of those things he did, but a lot of things that are really just paying off, a lot of things that I think is going to really help the future of this area. And we did that because of the great community that we live in. We had Woody Thrasher and his people to come and do our park at Pinecrest and the Airport Industrial Park and a lot of the other things. And Woody's his farm is from Clarksburg, and he indicated back then when we were doing all of this, he said that I go all over the state, and there's nowhere that I go that there's much cooperation and goodwill between people within the community and in the political world, leadership, and here. Everyone really here works together, and that's what it really is. It's not about me, it's about so many things and so many people that are doing these things. CCC really did me and the Boy Scouts a great favor. When we were meeting with the steering committee, and all the steering committee members are here, Don's here, and Steve. Steve's the guy that makes sure we stay straight on that steering committee. Talks about it. We always look to Steve and say, hey, can we really do that? But he's the guy that really keeps us straight. But the thing, when the Boy Scouts are doing something they've never done before, and it's a community service project that these kids must do, we looked around the room and I said, I know the exact people that would be able to help do this. And that's Robert Martin and Jennifer Douglas and the people at the CCC. They do that. I had met Robert the first time when I was on the county commission, president of the county commission. He first came to Beckley and made a presentation. I knew right then that the kinds of things that they were going to be able to do in southern West Virginia and West Virginia. So we called on Robert and said, I know this is a big undertaking, but can you really get on this and take it? So the people that deserve credit for that are people on the steering committee said, yeah, I think that's where we really need to go. So we did, and CCC, Robert and his people took that over and has done an outstanding job. I think everyone is really blown over by how far they've taken it. Then I said to Robert, I said, you know, there's a people that have moved into the area from outside the area that really love this area. They'd love to be able to get involved. Great friends of mine and Lily's that are professional people, retired, time on their hands. They can't improve their golf game anymore, so they're doing something else. So, I introduced them to a group that Judy and I started with the discussion that John Stepp and Bill Lee and a bunch of us had, called at that time it was 4C, but now New River Boys Regional Development Authority Volunteer Initiative. These people volunteered their time. We gave them, we introduced them to the community. We set aside 10 sessions of different things. One about the coal industry. We took them to a mountaintop removal job. We took them by an underground mine. We did a lot of things to make sure they understood the community where they were in. The judicial system, a lot of the others, they jumped right in. And when I mentioned this, Robert and Jennifer approached these people, and they have been fantastic in terms of giving Robert and the Boy Scouts and Jennifer direction and I mean, it's awesome what they've done. That's the kind of people we have in our community. That's the kind of people that moved into our community. So whatever I've been able to do is because I love doing it because the people respond. People in this area respond. And these gentlemen sit around and tell me that Boy Scouts and Bears, let me tell you, they are first-class people. I can remember, I was sitting here thinking about living in McDowell County when I was growing up. I was a Boy Scout. And I think about one merit badge that I had to do with cycling. And I remember, those of you that know McDowell County, Bobby will surely know this. We decided, 12-year-old kids, we decided we were going to get on our bikes and ride our bikes on those crooked roads in McDowell County from Bradshaw to Wilmore Dam. How far is that? 15 or 16 miles? And on crooked roads and take a swim and then ride back. When we did that, until we got back, we couldn't stay on for a week. We had blisters. But those are the kinds of things we did as Scout. What scouting meant to us, it kept us together in a coal mining camp. And I never made Eagle, I made Life. Still had a few Democrats that didn't quite make it. But working with the gentlemen that are really here because they want to be here, when the Boy Scouts said, and when they're advertising in West Virginia and the Summit Backwaters, it's in every county and every state in this country. There's a Boy Scout troop. And if you haven't seen their videos, they're talking about how great West Virginia is. Our future, I think, is really going to happen because the Scouts are telling everybody how great we are as a people and how great we are as a community. That's what I like being part of. That's the reason I'm proud to be in West Virginia, and I'm proud to be part of all these things. There's an awful lot of nice things said about me, and I hope that I can live up to those things. And I thank my wife for allowing me to do a lot of those things, because there's a lot of times there's other things that she would like to be doing, but we've had our share of things. Anyway, I accept this reward on behalf of the First Tee program, but there's a lot of those board members are here, Woody Duba, Nancy, and Bridget works in all those things, and the National School Program, I'm really proud of that. We did that. We got a lot of schools involved, and if you don't know all the different things that the First Tee does, is trying to teach the kids the core values, and that's what it's all about. It's not about golf. Using golf to do that, but for CCC jumped in and saved that program. There's many sweet things that CCC has done. I am proud to be associated with Jennifer and Robert and Mike and Dave and Larry and Dan and all the guys that are involved in Boy Scouts, and they are really going to change our community. Not them, they've got a job to do. What we have to do is to make sure we take advantage of the opportunity that they are bringing us. We're not asking them for anything other than that opportunity. That's what the steering committee is trying to do. And I've said too much, but thank you very much. It's my personal privilege to be part of this community.
And Bill, before you close, tell us how many home runs and RBIs you had for Concord in a college baseball game against Morris Army College. Tell us.
That's a trouble. Well, first, let me tell you, first thing, we were playing Glenville, and I bootlegged, was a quarterback, I bootlegged, went 85 yards for a touchdown. You never mentioned that.
No, I didn't know that.
They had 4 home runs and 13 RBIs.
Thank you very much.
Charlie out the other night, he wasn't allowed to speak. I'm so sorry, I did not say that in the beginning. Okay, so, Paul, come up and pray so we can finally eat. But, all jokes aside, Paul Hutchinson's going to give our invocation, and then, thank you all for coming. Please enjoy the lunch. We'll just, afterwards, start with the head table and filter all the way back.
Thank you. Before I have prayer, McCowan and I are the only JDs that I guess are here, and we're the only ones that didn't get a hug. So I hope I get one after the prayer. Y'all be praying. Our dear and gracious Heavenly Father, we're here today at the request of Robert Martin and his people, his staff, who want us to come during the Christmas holiday, as he has for years. And he wants to honor his staff, his friends, and the community leaders that he serves. We're so happy that, as others have indicated today, the nice honor that Nancy Kissinger got to the Spirit of Beckley Award, and Bill Baker today for his Leadership Award, and all of those people that Bill has just indicated that he has worked with and are wonderful leaders in this community, not just in Beckley and not just in Raleigh County, but our love that we have for Southern West Virginia. Bless the food that's set before us for the nourishment of our bodies. And I would like at this time to recite the 100th Psalm. Acclaim the Lord, all men on earth. Worship the Lord in gladness. Enter his presence with songs of exaltation. Know the Lord is God. He has made us, and we are his own, his people, the flock which he shepherds. Enter in his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and bless his name. For the Lord is good, and his love is everlasting. His constancy endures to all generations. Amen.